everyone, it's Olivia from Girlybunches, and in this week's video I'm going to be showing you how I've done this crochet edging on this piece of fabric. And this piece of fabric could be a pillowcase, it could be a purse, an item of clothing, it could be anything that you wanted it to be. And I've just done this very simple, delicate scallop edge on this piece of fabric, and I've used a blanket stitch on the piece of fabric, and you can see I have crocheted into that like that. If I just show you like that, you can see. And you can do this any way you like, really. You can do any edging stitch you like. I've just chosen a very simple one that I've shown you in great detail before in the tea cozy video, so I shall put a link down below to that. And yeah, just a very simple, very pretty effect on a piece of fabric. This could be a handkerchief that you were giving to someone, or it could be a decorative handkerchief that you have in your pocket. So there's a few different ways you can do this. You can use your crochet hook, if you had a very fine one, to go through the fabric, and you would do more stitches onto the actual fabric. But I prefer this method, which is doing a blanket stitch in an evenly spaced across your piece of fabric along a neaten edge. So that's an edge that's been folded over and tacked down like a pillowcase edge. That's just my quick sewing. And yeah, that's just a really simple method. So I'm going to show you how to do that in this video. I've kept the spaces quite narrow, but not too narrow, because I've used a very fine yarn. So it's going to be a quick video, and I hope you enjoy it. And this is how I did it. Fabric. So imagine, if you will, that this is your pillowcase edge, and I've just done a running stitch on the back, or back stitch, just to tack it down so you've got a nice edge, because that would be the pillowcase that you would, or whatever edge you want it to be, a nice finished edge. And then to get an even number of blanket stitches across, I would take a ruler and mark out how many spaces across, and you don't want it to be too narrow, like I mentioned before, so I probably would go with something like maybe 1.5 centimeters. And obviously I wouldn't use a CD marker, but it was the only thing I had to hand, and I want you to be able to see it once I've done it. So I'm just going to do that. So I'm just going to measure maybe 1.5 centimeters, I'm not sure. I think 1 centimeter is going to be too small, maybe. Now we're going to go for 1 centimeter. So I'm just going to mark, I don't think you can see that, but I think you get the idea of what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm going to do that all the way across. So I've done that all the way across now, and I've got 17 marked out here, which is an uneven number, so it doesn't have to be 17, it's just an uneven number is what you need, because what we're going to do is we're going to work the fan stitch, or the shell stitch, or the scallop stitch, whatever you want to call it, into the first one, and then we'll need that one to slip stitch into, and then that one will be a fan stitch, and then slip stitch, fan, slip stitch. So let me do my blanket stitch across, and then I will come back. So those of you who don't know how to do a blanket stitch, like I say, there are brilliant tutorials on YouTube about how to do proper sewing, but what you need to do is you need to do a stitch that's not too close to the edge but not too far away, because you want to have a post, and if you're going to have a post you want to try and keep it consistent. Obviously that's not terribly consistent, but for me that is. And you pull the thread through, but you need to make sure that you've got that bit of yarn that goes underneath there, which then pulls that across nicely, and that's the bit that we're going to crochet into. So I'll just do that one more time. You have the thread over the fabric, the front of the fabric, and when you put your needle through, oops, and get it knotted up like that. When you pull it through, you've already got the bit that's going to come across. You don't want to put it too tight, because it will pucker it up. That's pucker it up. And then you've still got this nice edge across the top. Okay, so I shall carry on and finish that. Go, that's got our edge all sewn on there now, and all we need to do now is start doing our edging. Okay, so now we're going to start doing our crochet into our blanket stitch, and hopefully you can see what I'm doing, but this isn't very different to in fact it's not different at all to the stitch that I did for going around the edge of the teapot cozy in the video I've shown you before, so I'll put a link down below to that. And in the description of that video is a time code, so you can go straight to the bit where I start doing the edging. If you want to skip straight to that part and don't want to have to watch the rest of the tea cozy video, then you can do that. And it's if you look in the description box, there's a time code, and it will say, and you just click on that, and it will take you straight to the part. So I'm just going to do a slip stitch here. I'm going to do 3 trebles in this first one. Apologies if you can hear the music downstairs, that's our neighbour, and every time I start to film they love to start either DIY or playing really loud music with really rude words in it, so hopefully you can't hear any of that. Okay, so I've done 3 there, and I'm just going to do a slip stitch. No, I'm not going to do a slip stitch. Been thrown by my noisy neighbours. Okay, so that's 3 trebles. I'm going to do a double into that one like that, and then I'm going to do 5 trebles into that next one. Four, 5, and then again I'm going to do a double into that one. So I'm going to do that all the way across. There we go. I'm just finishing off with 3 trebles on that end, just because it is the edge one, but if you were going around the whole edge of the pillowcase or whatever it is you were working on, then you would just keep going, but that just finishes it off like that. So then again, obviously you would sew in your ends, and there you go, that's your edging. If you're doing a handkerchief, then you would just make sure that your corner, your next stitch would be there, and you would just go round like that, or you could just do some filling stitches like I show you in the teapot cozy video. So it's entirely up to you how you finish off your project, and there is nothing to stop you from putting more stitches, more trebles, or having, like I said, a picot stitch at the top there. That would look really cute, and I think this would make a really gorgeous house gift for someone. You know, you could just get them some plain pillowcases and just do the edging on there in a bright colour. Maybe doesn't have to be in the white. I think if I'd thought about this better, I probably would have chosen the blue, but really I only had the white, so that's all I had, but still looks very pretty. I hope you enjoy that, and you can apply this to all sorts of projects. You could make this into a the fold over part of a of a handbag or a purse. That would look really cute if that was, if I just take another bit of fabric here, if you see that overlapping onto there, that looks sweet like that, doesn't it? So if that was the flap over of a purse, I think that would look really sweet. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you could see it. And sorry if you heard the music from my noisy neighbour. And I shall be back in not a few weeks, next week, with more crochet videos. So give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Leave me comments down below if you have any questions. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye!